Are you ready to tell your story? If so, the StoryMap Tour app may be ideal when you want to present a linear, place-based narrative featuring images or videos. Each story point in the narrative is geolocated. Your users have the option of clicking sequentially through the narrative, or they can browse by interacting with the map or using the thumbnail carousel. So let's get started building our own story map. To start the process of building your own map tour, you have to log on to your ArcGIS Online for Organizational account, and this will be supplied to you by your teacher. This is the URL where your organizational account resides, and mine happens to be at Hack. So I go to my page and I sign in, and it will take me to the home page of the organizational account. To get started building a map tour, we want to select the My Content area that we see. The My Content area is where all your web maps and web applications are stored. It's also where you can start to create a new web tour or web map. So to begin the process of creating the web tour, we click on the drop-down arrow next to Create, select App, and then using a template. The Create a New Web App dialog box will come up, and you'll see a list of templates that are available within ArcGIS Online for Organizations. We're interested in building a story map, so we select that option, and you notice that you have a couple of different options for communicating your story. For this particular example, we're going to explore the story map tour template, so I'm going to click Select, then Create App. From here, you have to give your web app a title. My map tour that I'm going to be building has to do with a study tour that I'm going to be going on this summer. I'm going to be traveling with the University of Pittsburgh to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico to study Mayan culture and history. And the specific program is called the Bridges to the Yucatan. So I'm going to title my web map Bridges to Yucatan. And then we have to enter in keywords or tags for our map. So essentially what the search keywords would be. So I'm going to put in Mayans, and I'm going to put in Mexico. We can opt to put a summary of the web map here. You can do that. It's optional. I'm going to opt not to, but this is something that you can come back to later and fill in, which is probably what I'll do, because I like to do that at the end sometimes rather than the beginning. So I'm going to click Done. And it's going to switch us into what's called Builder mode. In Builder mode, the first thing that it's going to ask you to do is tell it where your images or videos are. Are they already online through a service like Flickr, Facebook, Picasa, YouTube? Or do you have your images on your computer or on your hard drive? I'm going to select this option because the images that I want to use are on my computer, but knowing that this doesn't allow me to use video. If I wanted to use video, I would have to switch over to this. So I'm going to click on this, and then it's going to ask us to name our map tour layer. And I'm just going to call this Yucatan Locations. And then select Create the layer. Once I create that layer, the web builder will load with the various components of the app. Where I like to get started in this is the settings area, because it helps to dictate how your whole app is going to look and how it's going to perform. But before we go into the settings, just a couple of things to draw your attention to. Notice that there's a pencil beside some of these areas. That means all you have to do is click on it to edit it. So everything is pretty editable and easy to change if you wish. This is the pane template where we have the map here. The bigger image is going to be here once we start adding photos, and then the thumbnails will be down here at the bottom. Up here in the corner, we have a link to the Esri logo and a link to story maps, and we have the ability to share it out to Facebook, Twitter, or the through the bit.ly, which is the shortened URL. Like I said, I'm going to start with the settings area, and this is going to establish the way that my web map is going to look. So from here, notice that there's two different layouts that we can select from. The 3-panel layout or the integrated layout. I tend to prefer the integrated layout because it makes the map span over the entire area, and then the images on top. So I'm going to select that. And I'm also going to put a locate button there so that it adds that functionality to the map. I'm then going to click on my colors option. We have 4 different predefined color schemes that we can select, or if none of those work for what we want, we can change our color scheme by clicking this last option, and then you have the ability to go in here and make some changes. For instance, I might want this to look a little bit more like the hack color, so I can select that color there and then hit apply, and you'll notice how that changes. I'm actually going to hit save. I hit save a lot because I've learned through past experiences, sometimes things crash when you don't want them to, so it's useful to have hit that save button regularly. I'm then going to go to the header area, and this is going to change this area up here. Right now we have the Esri logo. I prefer not to have the Esri logo on my maps because they're customized to my topics and what I'm doing. So if I want to have a logo there, it would most likely be a logo that's associated with the topic that I'm doing, not having the Esri logo there. Similarly, I don't use the text and link that they have there. For instance, I would probably put you know, a link that either links back to the program because I'm creating this for the Hack Geospatial Technology program, or I might put a link to something that has to do with the Yucatan Peninsula and Mayan culture. And for right now, I'm just going to put Hack Geospatial Technology program there, and I'm going to link it to our website. And I'm going to keep all of these options here, the ability to share with Facebook, Twitter, and Bitly, because I want people to be sharing the map with others. And then I'm going to click on the extent option, and this will zoom in our map to the extent that we want it to. I don't want it to be showing North America. I just want it to be showing the Yucatan Peninsula because all my locations are going to be down there. So I'm going to draw a new extent. So come down here, draw that, hit apply, and right now it's not going to make any changes. It's only going to change once I add my start adding my tour points. So that would be my next step now that we did settings to go and start adding the location. So I simply click add, and then I select the picture and the place mark that I'm going to be sharing first. Again, my topic is to show the itinerary for my Yucatan study trip, so I'm going to go and put in the first thing on our agenda, which is to check into the Casa Hamaca guest house. So I'm going to select the picture that's associated with that, and then put in the information with that. And then I'm going to put in the information that was provided on the agenda that was distributed to us. That was in the form of Microsoft Word document, so I'm just copying and pasting text from Microsoft Word. So I have that in there. And then the last thing I have to do is tell it where the place mark is located. I looked up the address previously on Google Maps, so I'm just going to copy and paste that address into this location here. Hit the little box there, and then hit add tour point. And what you're going to see, it adds the point to the timeline down here. You see the image here, and then you see it marked here. I'm going to hit save. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reload the app because I want it to now center in on the Yucatan. So I'm just going to right click and go to reload. Now notice it's more in on that area that I set up as the extent. So that's why I just refreshed it so that it would pull into that location. So now that I have my first tour point in there, I can just keep adding the various other place marks. So I'm going to hit add again. And my second stop is going to be to the Koba Archaeological Site. So I'm going to select that, put in the information for it. And then the location. And again, I looked that up online. So with saying that, one of the things I think you're going to find that doing a little bit of legwork before you get in here is probably a good thing. Make a list of all your place marks. Come up with titles for all of them, and then come up with descriptions. Put that all in a Word document, and you should make it easy to create your tour. So I'm going to add that, and I'm going to turn on my light that just shut off. There we go. And so now we have our second location. So now it's time to add our third location. So I'm going to go to the Add button, hit Select or Drop Picture, and my third is the Punta Laguna Spider Monkey Sanctuary. And I'm going to put in the information for that. And what's going to be a little bit different about this one is the fact that I don't have an address for this one. So what I did was I did a Google search and got the latitude, longitude coordinates. So to show you an example of that, I went into Google, typed in Punta Laguna, it put it on the map, and if you look up here in the URL, you'll see the latitude and longitude coordinates. You can grab those latitude, longitude coordinates from there so that you can put it on your story map. So now when I go to location and I copy and paste those latitude, longitude coordinates, and hit add tour point, notice that it puts the point there. And so I just continue adding my images like this for my entire tour, making sure that I hit save quite a bit along the way. Once we are done adding all of these points, and we have everything configured the way that we want, one final selection that you would want to consider is the base map that you're using. Up here in the corner, you can click Change Base Map, and here you can see all the various base maps that you can use. And I encourage you to explore these because there are some that are better than others for particular things. Because I'm going to be looking at the geography of the Yucatan extensively, I would want something that's maybe something like National Geographic, or maybe terrain with labels, and so forth. So I'm going to pick National Geographic first to see what that looks like. And then you can kind of just play around with them because you may or may not like all of these. Or topographic map, that might be a good one. So I think I'm going to stick with the National Geographic one. And then again, I'm going to hit save. And now the final step in making this a complete web map, after you make all the changes that you want in all of these, and I'm just doing this as a quick example, so I'm not changing everything. I think you'll be able to figure out how to change these kinds of things just by, again, clicking on the pencil. You have to share your tour, and you want to share it publicly if you're going to be entering the contest so that everybody can see it. So click Share Publicly. And then this is going to be your link. So you can click Open, and your link should open for you in a way that you're not seeing the builder mode, that you're actually in what it would look like, with the exception of that being there. And then you can kind of scroll through your points. What's neat about this too is that if you want to look at any of these more closely, you can zoom in to them so you can see, you know, where they are and so forth. So the map is very interactive and able to zoom in, out, pan, and so forth. So hopefully that provides you enough to get started with the map tour template. If you look in the description area of this YouTube video, you'll see a link to step-by-step directions on how to create a map tour in case you forget any of the information in this video. So good luck with creating your story maps, and feel free to contact the Central Pennsylvania GIS Day Committee if you need any help in building your web maps. We're here to help.